Kevin McCarthy, what do you do if you're afraid that you've gotten on the wrong side of Donald Trump and the Republican Party? Well, of course, you head for the border. Is it to leave the country? No, it's just to stay there and do interviews there. And that's exactly what Kevin McCarthy did. Here he is joining Fox Live at the border because that's where the Mexican people might be.
I want to switch gears a little bit because you are looking to be speaker again if Republicans win. And to that point, you know what's out there. The New York Times has released audio of you where days after January 6th, you're on a call with House Republican leadership, and you're heard on that audio saying that you've, quote, had enough with President Trump and that you would tell him to his face it would be your belief that he should resign. Do you? I'm sorry.
Can we pause it and go back to when his fake smile comes on based upon his media training? Here we go. As soon as this is how it works, folks. When you get asked an uncomfortable question that you don't want, the way you register, this is not a problem for me, is you do a half laugh. You keep that smile planted on there. You want to make sure I'm not pissed off about this question. Here we go. Watch Kevin McCarthy's mouth.
Speaker again if Republicans win. And to that point, you know what's out there. The New York Times has released audio of you where days after January 6th, you're on a call with House Republican leadership, and you're heard on that audio saying that you've, quote, had enough with President Trump and that you would tell him to his face it would be your belief that he should resign. Do you still stand by those comments?
Look, I never told the president to resign. It was a conversation that we had about scenarios going forward. But that's not really what critical happened 15 months ago. What's happening is what's happening on this border right now. Our border is not secure. 160 different countries of people are coming across. We now have enough fentanyl in America to kill every American 7 times over, and it's actually doing it. It's the #1 cause of death to Americans between the ages of 18 and 45. This is real life things happening today, and this is what we need to be focused on.
And regarding that audio tape, you had said the New York Times reporting on it was, quote, false and wrong. Then the tape came out. Did you lie?
No, because what was brought to me is said that I called the president to say that to resign. I never called the president to say resign. He and I have a very good relationship as we go through. But what really needs to happen here is we're watching what's happening in this country. A border that's not secure, inflation continuing to rise every day, streets that are not safe. Parents that are being attacked by the attorney general saying that somehow they're terrorists because they want to go to school board meetings. That all changes when Republicans take the majority.
Does the fact that this audio was leaked in the first place mean that there are some Republicans out there who have some knives out for you?
I think it's probably a little more of the Democrat side as well. I mean, Elizabeth Warren, Adam Schiff, and Swalwell. You know, those people won't be on Intel anymore, and that's okay. You could judge me by my enemies. I think I'll be a good judgment.
Final question on this topic.
Good judgment. Wait, pause it. Wait. First off, it was the Democrats who were on this private conversation with
Liz Cheney.
You got to work on your
Liz Cheney.
Yeah. And but you know what he was trying to say there? That he was trying to imply that he was spied on by the U.S. government.
Right, the old Tucker defense.
Right, like the NSA was monitoring my calls.
Elizabeth Warren,
deep state, Elizabeth Warren
on Intel
with like headphones, going, "Oh, check this out! Keep them talking. We can trace the call.
Go to 1500 hertz." Dogged questioning by Bill Malugin, though. Great. So about that audio,
this dude's part of the Great Resignation. It sounds like.
I'm so curious though. Like, what's his other reporting like? Is he?
Yeah, I'd be curious about this. I wonder if he's maybe just a Trumper and wants to. Right. But go ahead.
But super smart though.
Yeah,
because he's good.
The Democrat side as well. I mean, Elizabeth Warren, Adam Schiff, and Swalwell. You know, those people won't be on Intel anymore, and that's okay. You could judge me by my enemies. I think I'll be a good judgment.
Final question on this topic. Let's say Republicans win and you're speaker again, or you seek to be speaker again. Do you think this tape has any impact on that?
No, I don't think it has any impact at all. What really has impact is what we're doing today to make sure Title 42 does not get lifted. That you got a Biden administration that has opened up this border, that you're now having people on the terrorist watch list coming across into America.
All right. This is if I wanted to teach a course on how do you change a topic, this is what I would teach. You find the thing that is going to be the best backdrop for you, This is where you do your first interview and address the audio tape for the first time, right? Literally on the border. So your pivoting to the border is seamless. And this is something that Democrats don't seem to have any concept of. You want to change the topic from Joe Biden shaking nobody's hand or whatever it is. You need to have another narrative.
That's
and you
right.
change the topic. That's basically what it is. This is
It's basic.
101. And
When you go on
Democrats
Fox
don't seem to
News,
even-
that's what you do too. Like same thing. Tucker asks you one thing, you say, "Oh, by the way, look over here." It's 101 messaging. And it's not that I think Democrats like being on defense. I think there's something about the addiction, the adrenaline, and the money they can raise by saying, "See, we're being attacked on these issues," with some of them. And then they have no problem ignoring others. But for the most part, they're making these things issues because they want that culture war. They want these wars too.
But Republicans also talk about being attacked. That's their entire, you take away the attack. That's what the whole Elon Musk thing is. We've
They
been
control the
attacking the town.
landscape. They need to be the victims because they're the ones in power. What I'm saying is Democrats, they want to distract away from the economic issues, clearly. So they buy into these culture war attacks. They're buying in, playing this game of Title 42 and fentanyl. MSNBC was talking about fentanyl all day yesterday. I mean, they're literally just mimicking the alternate version of the Republican talking points, or sometimes even agreeing with a slightly nuanced, different perspective.
I mean, I guess you got a lot of Democrats who are coming saying don't reverse Title 42. They should be just out there promoting other things. I mean, and that's it. Bottom line, either COVID is a problem or it's not. And they're just what's the narrative from leadership? Did Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, are they on extended vacation?
I mean, we haven't talked about it, but there's a bipartisan climate thing in the works.
Oh, yeah, no, I read that. Joe Manchin might be open to a bipartisan climate thing. Phew,
Sure.
Okay. Give me a break. It's unbelievable. Cancel student debt. Make them talk about student debt.
Sam, you're operating from a place where you think that that's actually what they want to do.
No, I'm not even talking about what they want to do. I don't think they want to do any of that. I mean, they're willing to do more, but I'm talking about change the subject, get on some type of narrative. Instead, they're just constantly like, maybe nobody will notice we're here. That's the strategy.
That's the strategy. That's the game. Because if they have to champion something, they're going to have to champion something that either won't succeed, like BBB, because they've got too many people in the party. I mean, let's just take it on good faith. Maybe operating good faith. Joe Biden doesn't know what to do with Joe Manchin. So instead of creating another scenario where he loses another critical piece of legislation that has to deal with the recovery of this country to Joe Manchin, that's just another failure of Joe Biden. And so the response is Joe Biden fails. He can't lead. Let's just operate from that place. That's, good faith. But ultimately, I mean, I'm not even operating from that place. You don't think that Joe Biden can't get on the phone with some Republican in the Senate and say, Mitt Romney, you don't think Mitt Romney going home to Utah and saying, we passed BBD and I championed it? I think he'd still get reelected. I don't think he has any issue.
I mean, I don't know that Mitt Romney wants to pass that.
Well, the funny thing is they never got a phone call. Yet there's all these other things they had no problems. They got phone calls for. But BBB, the big thing that he's supposed to champion, it's going to define his legacy. He doesn't pick up the phone and call Susan Collins and Mitt Romney once.
But I mean, but if that's if that's your belief, then why wouldn't he have another losing legislation? I mean, if they thought it was so successful to present BBB and then lose, why not do it again?
Because they can blame Joe Manchin.
I mean,
and then they have to get rid of Joe Manchin. It's not just one time. It's like, okay, now Joe Manchin's the biggest issue the Democrats have, so we have to get rid of him.
The Biden administration wanted to get rid of Joe Manchin? Like that was the political agenda?
I'm saying if you keep losing to Joe Manchin, then suddenly the story is not about this piece of legislation is going too far and it's too left. It's Joe Manchin's a problem in the Democratic Party.
Well, I mean, that may be the case, but I just don't understand the logic behind thinking that they didn't that it wasn't important to them to get Mitt Romney to vote for BBB, that they were more interested in it failing than like why? Like I don't understand. Like why go through all that? All it did is hurt him politically.
I don't know.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
why
If we're operating from a place of good, I mean, I do think it's peculiar that they didn't make one phone call to two Republicans who might actually vote for this or could negotiate. Yeah, they came out and said it. They didn't get a phone call from the White House. I was like,
I mean, I maybe they just thought they couldn't get him. I mean, you know, the primary screw up was to invite the Republicans into the White House to start the whole process off, right? I mean, they invited them into the White House a year ago today, probably, or May. Yeah. As soon and they had 15 of them show up, and then that didn't work. And then they had Sinema and Portman show up, and they spent months on that. And you know, I can understand why they were afraid to do that again. Didn't work the first time.
I mean, but it doesn't. There's a difference between inviting them into the White House and when Joe Manchin's really, you know, sticking it to them to make one phone call to Mitt Romney and say, "What can I, you know, is there any movement?"
Do that?
Why? I mean, he came out and he said, "I never got a phone call." So
okay, well, you never got a phone call.
Maybe there was something.
But why would Mitt Romney ever, if he has any desire to have anything other than be senator from Utah, which I think he could survive it, maybe.
I think he could.
It certainly would make his life harder, right? In Utah, it wouldn't help him in any way in Utah. Why would Mitt Romney give a shit about any of those proposals?
Why did he vote for Justice Brown? I mean,
his dad marched with Martin Luther King. I mean, he may actually have some sentiment that I shouldn't vote against the first black woman to sit on the Supreme Court. It's not going to implicate anything anyways. I mean, that's a much less, voting for a nominee is a much higher, lower bar than voting for legislation. Ask Russ Feingold. You know, I mean, you know, that's... I don't think those are comparable.
Doesn't mean we don't try. I mean, my perspective is if Joe Biden was talking about, you know, he ran on being the senator who can cross party lines and bring dignity back. The guy didn't even make a phone call to one Republican on his critical piece of legislation, which was already watered down so much that Mitt Romney might have actually supported it.
I'll tell you something.
Earned income to tax credits.
I would be willing to bet that Mitt Romney would have never voted for that in a million years.
Possibly.
And if it came out that they called Mitt Romney, there's no doubt in my mind, I would be like, are you kidding me? How deluded are these people?
No, but here's the thing. If you put him in a position, this is somebody who is out there as a moderate in the Republican Party. He's probably not vulnerable in Utah, but maybe Susan Collins is. You know, you now put these moderates in positions where they have to go back to their state, which can come down to a few votes. You put them in a position where they're the ones who held this up, and maybe they're vulnerable, and you have a new, you know, red to blue state. I don't know what it is, but you have to try. The point is Democrats just don't do anything. They don't have operations around the country. They don't message. It a year ago. They got nothing.
The administration blew it a year ago. He was never going to get Susan Collins. He was never going to get. That's why they didn't have to. They voted for.
Try.
What?
Try. It's not the point. Try.
I don't know.
I don't care if you do or you don't.
I understand, but they tried. They had the Republicans in the White House a year ago. That they didn't do a phone call when it was clear that Joe Manchin was going to take the blame for this not passing. I just don't. I would have just been like, they're deluded.
Yeah,
they're deluded. It would have hurt them with the Democrats, I think, had they tried to do something like that. But